Hey everybody, I am back this time with a solo challenge here at Cypresswood Disc Golf Course. I spent the last hour and change throwing pigs in zones, as you will have seen in the previous video to this, my pig versus zone disc throwdown. And I felt like I was ruining my form throwing both backhand and forehand, throwing those two, trying to throw them the different angles. So have a confluence of events today where I'm actually free, but nobody else is available today. So I'm just going to go ahead and film a quick round here, and let's just see how it goes. All right, so I'm going to do two off the tee. I'm going to use my G-Star Mamba, then my Champion Mamba, and those are going to be what counts just to get me started, because I want to see if I can throw correctly. And then since I'm here, I'm going to throw my G-Star Mystere, because I just want to see how it throws. I was going to test some new cross-step stuff, but I've learned my lesson about testing that on the field or on the course. Of course, I hit a tree about 250 feet away, or probably less, to be honest. All right, I will take one of those two. Now that I'm here, let me see what this throws like. Not bad, but definitely overstable. Well, I have to say, this is probably the farthest from the tee pad I've ever been, so it's good that I went with this Mamba. The Mystere was sort of halfway between the Champion G-Star and here, so the Mystere was actually really, really good, but out in the fairway. All right, that is going to be a lengthy putt. All right, so I've measured this, and I'm 17 feet from the pole. I should have practiced putting today, so if I miss this, it's all on me for not being prepared. Oh dear God, I was a little worried there. It didn't feel right coming out of the hand, but that is my first official solo par here. In hindsight, I should not have used my Aviar X3. It was too overstable and it pushed it too far. I should have used like the Aviar 3 and XT plastic instead of the X3 and Champion plastic. But I'll take it. This is history for me. And actually on hole one, I always have a hang up where I start really rough on it. I'm almost always throwing into a tree or shanking the driver, etc. So I almost never do well on hole one, simply because I'm a wreck by the time I get there. So maybe that hour plus of throwing pigs in zones, maybe it warmed me up. I don't know. Say what you want about the Mamba, it goes far if thrown right. And I think it did pretty good, all things considered, with that throw. All right, so I was very timid with this upshot here. So now I've got a very difficult putt to make. Let's see if I can even make it. Yes. Yes, I can. All right, this is a bit of a daunting hole for me, because if I use something unstable, it's quite likely it will fall into the ditch. Also, there's wind coming this way. So that G-Star Mystere that I threw earlier, I'm going to throw here, because I think it's overstable enough relative to my arm speed to where it should remain safe in the fairway. I almost have a putt. Maybe I should have been throwing these distance drivers already. All right, I came up a little short, which is fine, but to be honest, this is as far as I normally, or about the farthest I ever get here. I've never made it really, I don't think I've ever made it farther than this. So, of course. And there's really never an expectation for me to birdie any of these holes, to be honest. I consider this one to be a bonus birdie. So for me, a par is just fine. All right, so this is going to be hard for me to show you. I had to put this towards the edge here so you can even get sort of a look at the basket, although at that field of view and the distance, I don't think you can technically see the basket from there, but it's middle-ish of the screen that way. I'm going to hopefully not obstruct the flight of the disc. It's going to be hard for you to see this G-Star Mamba here, but I'm going to see what I can do. I've got my good old-fashioned pig, the one I've broken in that I trust. That I threw way too high. All right, so unfortunately, that's what I kept doing in my pig versus zone videos. I kept throwing the disc up, so I see that I've inherited that trait. So let me see if I can at least save a par or get no more than a bogey. Okay. Alrighty, what should I expect? I'm a scratch to bogey player on most courses, so bogey it is. All right, here I am on hole 5, where I was a few minutes ago recording footage for the previous video, and I'm a little worried how things are gonna go. They're gonna go like that. All right, well, the good news is I'm about halfway and I'm in the fairway. The bad news is I've got halfway left to go. But I got a putt. All right, this is not as good as it looked from back there. The grass is somewhat slippery, slick, I don't know what you'd call it, but it's have to be very ginger on it. Another bogey. I thought I would par the last 2 holes since I parred the first 2, which I never par, almost never par, but I'm not doing as good as I thought. Now I'm at my nemesis hole, so hopefully I can stave off this trend of bogeys. I got through. All right, so I haven't had to use a mulligan yet. I've got this animal in Nexus plastic I'm gonna try because it seems, according to what I'm hearing online, to be a slower AVR, basically, you know, like it goes straight but not as far. So I'm gonna see if I can not go too far past the basket. I consider that a success. Maybe I should have went with a putter with greater glide, or I don't know what you would call it, where it would go farther. That said, this was very controlled and that's what I wanted it for, and it putts just fine. So our whole strategy for saving strokes on this course is wait till hole 6, hold on to that mulligan until hole 6. Unless you can definitely save a stroke before hole 6, you're gonna need it there. So far I haven't had to use a mulligan, but from 6 onward is when the mulligans come out. And my goal here, honestly, is just to make it about halfway. And I'm halfway. All right, so my strategy is to either use a Shark 3 and throw it exactly the way I did before and let the turn resistance prevent it from going into those trees to the right, or I can make an adjustment with the Mako 3. I'm going to choose to make an adjustment with the Mako 3. And I did. Oh boy, hopefully I can make that putt. All right, I've positioned the camera such that I need to definitely make this because you're not going to be able to see where this lands if I miss it long. This is about a 12-foot putt. Oh, and I almost goofed that one up. All right, my goal here is usually to throw far and let it fade. And I end up putting too much hyzer in it or anhyzer. Here I'm going to try to throw it straight, and if I can get it halfway, that's great, but I'll see what I can do. But this is not a 100% power throw. It's a 80% controlled throw, hopefully. That's what I wanted. All right, so the good news for me is I just threw the best throw of my life here. The bad news is I was pointing the camera that way. So now I'm gonna try to repeat what I did. Oh goodness. That's one for the blooper reel. Stay tuned. That's not good. I'm going to see if I can even come close with my FD here. Unfortunately, I had the camera backwards and I tried to replicate this throw with a driver or two since then, and I couldn't even come close. So screw it. I couldn't get this recorded, but it's my best throw ever on this hole, and I'm not going to pass up the opportunity to play from the best throw I've ever played on this hole. So sorry I didn't capture it, gang. That's my fault. All right, so I'm still a good 130 feet away from the basket though. I can just barely see it that way, and I've got my star stud out to try to get close. So naturally, what do I do with the best throw I've ever thrown on this course? Throw a terrible Anheuser approach instead of a slight hyzer. All right, all I'm going to try to do is just get close to the basket. I've got a putt. All right, next stop, Bogeyville. Unless I miss, then it's the next train station over to Double Bogeyville. Wah. I didn't feel it. Couldn't feel that putt. I hate to say it, but that's how it goes. Whenever I play disc golf, as soon as I get a bogey, things start to trail downward. I don't know, I gotta try to dial things in. I mean, overall I'm not doing bad, you know, for the way I play this course, but I had an opportunity at the start with 2 pars in a row, 3 pars in a row to do something special, and that's out of the picture now. All right, last throw of the day, or at least last drive of the day, I guess. Okay, well that was good. See what I can do with this FD. Not bad. So this FD is a little bit more stable than I would normally expect. There's a big gulf between this and my Leopard in terms of how you throw them and when they fade. So I'm gonna have to find something in between that Star Leopard and this S-Line FD. Oh, that is my second par ever here. Well, that was my best round ever at Cypresswood. I actually parred holes 1, 2, and 9, which are 3 of the 4 hardest holes for me to get. But I still managed to bogey hole 8, which is my second hardest hole. That said, I had a couple great throws on those holes and a couple clutch putts on holes 2 and 9. I hope that you liked the video. Please subscribe if you haven't already, as I have some fun scramble rounds and double matches, including another doubles tournament next. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.